Simon & Schuster Audio presents Bellman in Black by Diane Setterfield. Read by Jack Davenport.
You will have seen rooks. Don't be put off by any sense of familiarity. Rooks are enveloped in a glorious sky cloak of mystery. They're not what you think they are. Mark Cocker from Crow Country. I have heard it said, by those that cannot possibly know, that in the final moments of a man's existence, he sees his whole life pass before his eyes. If that was so, a cynic might assume William Bellman's last moments to have been spent contemplating anew the lengthy series of calculations, contracts, and business deals that made up his existence. In fact, as he approached the border with that other place, border toward which we all will find our path turning sooner or later, his thoughts were drawn to those who had already crossed into that unknown territory: his wife, 3 of his children, his uncle, cousin, and some childhood friends. Having remembered those lost dear ones, and being still some moments from death, there was time for one last act of remembrance. What he unearthed, after it had lain buried some 40 years in the archaeology of his mind, was a rook. Let me explain. Will Bellman was 10 years and 4 days old, and the glory of his birthday was still fresh in his veins. He and his friends were in the fields that ran between the river and the woods, fields where the rooks descended, flapping and swooping, to jab robustly at the ground in search of worms. Charles, inheritor-in-waiting of Bellman's mill, was Will's cousin. Their fathers were brothers, and though that sounds simple, it wasn't. Fred was the eldest son of the baker. His mother was from dairy people. He was said to be the best-fed boy in Whittingford, and he certainly looked as though he'd been weaned on bread and cream. He had white teeth and solid flesh over his strong bones, and he liked to talk about the bakery he would take over one day. Luke was one of the blacksmith's offspring. There would be nothing for him to take over. His older brothers were too numerous. His bright copper hair could be seen a mile off. At least it could when it was clean.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?